Shout out to Marco Pedrana, Alfredo Jr., AMG, Dan Real, Noble Brown, Mada Ankusa, and Vid Mantis. Welcome back, Game with King family, to another F1 Clash video. And in this video, we're going to be talking about something I've seen going on in the game. I'm thinking it's a new meta, a new way the game is going to be swinging after this video. So I'm going to be sharing what I've noticed with you guys, and hopefully it works for you. I know it will work for you. It's the new meta, guys. New meta. All right. So let's go back a bit before we jump into the new meta. As you know, there were a time when fast bit time dominated the game, and everybody was like using their fastest bit time and their best bit time setup, and that kind of gave the other parts in the game to become useless because nobody was really using them that much, because fast bit time was the meta. So that's what you're going to use if you want to win. All right. So Hutch decided to change to nerf fast bit time to give players more parts, more setups to choose from, and they did nerf fast bit time. And when they nerfed fast bit time, it opened the door for a stock part setup to begin to use. All right, so players were now using stock part 1, stock part 2, stock part 3, stock parts in their setups, and they found that these setups were running really nice. Now, the reason why the stock part setup was running so good was not known by me, and I guess most players did not know, but some players knew the reason behind the stock part setup. Now, I've recently found out the reason why the stock part setup works so good. It has nothing to do about matching with lower level players or using a lower level setup or a lower level matchmaking score. Has nothing to do with that. The reason why the stock part setup works so well is because of the pit time. All right, so if you haven't noticed in the game, let me just do a quick qualifiers here. If you haven't noticed in the game, a lot of players are now using a high pit time setup. A lot of the top players, that is, they're now using a high pit time setup. Now, the reason why they're using this high pit time setup is because now pit time is also a part of matchmaking. All right, so before that was not the case. Pit time was not taken into consideration into matchmaking. It used to be only the score of your drivers and your parts, but your pit time was like a byproduct. But now we see pit time in matchmaking. All right, now, so with pit time coming into matchmaking, that kind of changed the entire aspect. This has been around for a while, from that very first time that people started to use the stock part setup. That's when the change happened, and as Hutch normally make changes without making any form of announcement to anyone, so you kind of have to figure it out. So some players figured it out in the community, and they were using that to their advantage. And recently I was noticing something different, and I started to look around, and I got some information from some players. Shout out to TR the Flash over there on Discord. Got some information from some players that really, it has changed. All right, so I'm here to make this video for you guys so you guys can understand the benefits. As you can see, we're way out in the lead with the stock part setup here. We're just going to forfeit this one so we can jump into the main meat of the video. We're going to forfeit that and let that player go and race that player. So that's the reason why the stock part setup is so good. It's not necessarily about using driver levels or matching with weaker opponents. It's because of the pit time. So now in the top leagues, what you want to do is no longer focus on your power level setup, which would be to get all your pluses that you can get. You no longer want to focus on that to get you. I mean, the power level is still good. It is still good. And as you can see, it still has a high pit time of 3.50 seconds. But now in the game, you want to make sure your pit time is over 3.50 seconds if you're going to be using a strong setup. All right, so what you want to try to figure out now in the game is finding the most power, grip, arrow, and reliability with the highest amount of pit time you can find. That's what you need to be looking for right now. All right, so we're going to be looking for highest amount of pit time. There we see the power plant taken away, so we're not going to be using the power plant there because that's going to be taken away from our pit time. You don't want to take away too much from your pit time. You want to add. All right, so here we see the joist. It's taking away performance from the car, but it's giving us some more pit time. So we're going to throw the joist in there to give us some more pit time. So right now, this setup right here should be stronger than your power level setup because of that 4 seconds more in pit time. All right, we're going to see if we can bring that up a little bit more. Let's see. All right, so these parts are all going to be fast pit time parts, magnet and stuff. They're going to take away from the pit time. Let's see the clamp. All right, so the clamp is going to take away 7. So right now, this setup right here is perfect for GP events and perfect for duels. Let's jump on in and see how we're going to do with this setup. I can guarantee we're going to get a top 10 qualifiers in Series 10 with this setup here. And that's going to be all because of that high pit time, and your car is going to be super fast around the track. I'm just going to be doing a piece of the race. Don't want to make this video too long. I'm trying to get it at 8 minutes, the most 9 minutes. So we're just going to do a little piece of race here, and then I'll forfeit. So let's see what qualifier is going to bring us with this high power, grip, and arrow setup with some high pit time in there. And there you see, nice top 10, Series 12. And it's very hard to get top 10 qualifiers in Series 12, but yeah, because of the new meta, this is the kind of qualifiers you get in GP events. This is the kind of qualifiers you get in duels. So it basically throws using fast pit time setups out the window 100%, because it makes no sense because you have something better to use than that now. However, you could still use your fast pit time setup and get wins down in the lower series. Like if you're just starting out the game, you're in Series 1, Series 2, Series 3 coming up, it's best to use fast pit time at those levels. If you're in the lower series, do not use this technique. It's going to be devastating for you down there. If you're already qualifying in the back, let's say you're always qualifying in 22 and 24, you're always behind that number 20 car in qualifying, use fast pit time at that level because your rival is basically going to be behind there as well with you. And the most you can do at that level is to change your fast pit time, or you could use 1 or 2 stock parts in there as well to shake it up. All right. So there you could see we basically won this race. Really nice, really easy. So I'm just going to forfeit here for the purpose of ending this video. So you guys go ahead and go through your setup and look for the fastest pit time, the highest pit time you can get with your power, your grip, and your arrow. And let me know down in the comments how it works for you. And use code word great video to let me know that you made it to this portion of the video. Really appreciate you guys for all your support. Remember to smash that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're not yet subscribed. And yeah, that's going to be it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace. All good, guys.